Hello, I am Bentham and welcome back to Factorio Railworld. And let's start off by wandering over to module production, checking up on that. At the moment we're still wearing the combat suit with its night vision goggles and its super high speed and such. But anyway, got a bunch of random raw wood to unload there. And what we're trying to do here is get a bunch of level 1 efficiency modules because at the end of the last episode we ran out of them. But unfortunately the production is it's all been hoovered up by a level 2 module, so I've disconnected the supply for now. But it turns out that I could just go over here and grab some because minicopper 2 has run out. So now we could just get rid of all of the mining drills and such, and we can get all of the efficiency modules from there. We can deconstruct the train and all the bits of rail involved in it, and clear it away as if it never existed, like we like to do with the minicopper outposts. And then while I'm over here, I just stick a couple of extra rail signals in to help trains move along through there, though the problem was with minicopper 2 before, so I guess now it's not there, the problem isn't there, but we might as well put that thing in to help with the trains. And then we need to go over here and upgrade this station, get some more unloading in place, because last episode there was a lot of stuff that was left unfinished, where like at the end of the episode a bunch of things came up at once. Minicopper 2 ran out, some aliens attacked the new copper outpost, plastic ran out and things like that. So now we're spending the first part of this episode dealing with all that. So we've hopped on board the copper 2 train, the copper outpost 2 train, and I've been tweaking its the times because I always get them backwards, so it's in the wrong station for twice the time than the other one. And then we can replace the mining drills that were previously destroyed, and put a couple of put some efficiency modules into each of them to get them all working nicely. But of course, even with all of that, last episode we had a biter attack here, so it looks like we need to put in some defenses. So while I wait for the train to come back again, I start running around plonking some turrets around the place to help deal with any biters that decide to wander along later on, if they do. And then we just load each of them with 25 piercing shots, ammo stuff, hop on board the train, and we can make our way home. Seems to be loaded quite well at the moment. It doesn't really need to have that much going into it. It just needs to be a replacement for minicopper 2, which didn't have much of a supply as it was. Let's stick a splitter in there to help even out either side of the belt. I really should have done that sooner because it would have helped with the unloading of the copper 1 train when that was the only real supply of copper. But it's fine now. And if we go over to the smeltery, everything's looking okay there. There's all the smelters that are off, which shows that the system's running all right. And let's go over here to the signal system here. You can see that the oil train has stopped there to let the copper 2 train go past, which is a good sign. But I've realised there's a couple of signals I put in that don't need to be here because a lot of this is one-way systems, and so you only need the signals on one side. So we've got rid of some of those, and now we only have 8 of them. And there's been no train crashes yet, and there's trains waiting for the trains to pass, which is a good sign. Anyway, we're trying to hop on board the oil train that nearly goes off without us. We get on board and we're going to go and check up on why plastic is in trouble, and it looks like the oil train has stopped again for the copper train, so this might just be a permanent thing now. This oil train always ends up waiting for that one to pass, and they've sort of synchronized in that way. But anyway, it turns out that the problem with plastic is coal, well, I was going to say like it always is, but actually it's more like half the time it's a problem with oil. Or is it? No, it is always copper, isn't it? Coal. I don't make any sense sometimes. But anyway, what we're going to do is add in a bunch more mining drills to help keep up the coal supply, and we're going to try and make it so that it lasts a very long time and we stop having these problems, because I'm getting fed up of having to come over here and fix the coal supply every 5 minutes. It's ridiculous how much coal the system uses up, because this is the only thing in my factory that uses up coal, and it uses up a good 5 mining drills worth or something like that, maybe 6. I'm not really sure about the exact numbers of it, but anyway, coal starts building up again, but that's partially because I just dumped a bunch of spare coal that I had in my inventory into the chemical plant. So I decided that just in case that's not enough, I'll add in a couple more mining drills. We've got how many is it there? There's 8 mining drills now supplying it, and if that's not enough, then I don't know what is. And hopefully that'll keep it supplied for a while. So we want to go back yet again in future episodes and fix it, though. And of course the coal will continue to run down. Anyway, checking up on the oil fractions while I'm here, it looks like we need to switch off a couple of the cracking plants for turning light oil into petroleum gas. It looks like I did go a bit overboard with that, like last episode or whenever it was that I added those in. Anyway, back on board the train, we go back to base to check on how things unload. The train is nearly full of plastic once again, which is a good sign. And then we can check that it's being unloaded at a decent rate. So you can see there's a big old gap on the belt here. But here comes the plastic, and hopefully once the supply is started, it will no longer have any breaks in it, because that's the stuff that really kills the advanced circuit production. So there it goes, all running along, and I'm just following it, and as all of the assemblers fill up with plastic, it gets further along the belt, starts building up at the end. Now the question is, does it stay continuous? And it does. It starts to run down a bit, so there was only 2 inserters, but then it goes back up to 3 when the train arrives again. So we now have a consistent supply of plastic once more. And I just go over to module production, add in an inserter there to let the level 1 efficiency modules go through to level 2 module production again, because it looks like my supply is back up to a decent amount. And then I'm going to hop on board the car to deal with one of the last few things that I left last episode, which is that I misaligned this solar panel, and that is no good at all. I can't be having that. So we quickly put that in the right place and make our way back again. We crashed into a tree on the way out, so I just get rid of that, so it won't be a problem in future. So now I check up on science, and it looks like blue science has run down, interestingly enough. So let's see if we can sort that out. And it looks from the system like the problem is that we don't have enough assemblers, because at the moment the supply of the 4 different items you need to make blue science is fine. So I guess we just need to be turning those into blue science quicker. So we added 2 more assemblers and get them set up, so we should hopefully have a good enough supply of blue science to keep things going now. But you can see that smart inserter production is slightly struggling to deal with this new demand, so we just add some blue belts in and some fast inserters some extra fast inserters to help keep the supply going. And you can see it's really going like crazy now, and quickly builds up again and stops being a worry. And I just have a quick check of like the ratios of different items that each assembler takes to work out what the ratios of assemblers should be, and then we can start working on something else. So I go over to the end of the production line, and conveniently there is a conveyor belt here that has exactly what we need, because what we're going to do is make some laser turrets. I never use these, and people are always annoyed at me for not doing this because it's nonsensical, and you're fairly correct, really. It's not too much of a pain to make laser turrets. It's just that at the moment I never have batteries in my inventory, so I'm never capable of just crafting them on the spot, so I don't bother, and I stick with the old turrets. But I've decided that I'm gonna break that weird habit now. So I've set up an assembler to make some laser turrets, and I'll be able to wander around with some of those in my inventory handy for whenever I need to upgrade an outpost to be big spitter proof, which is going to become more and more of a problem as time goes on. It already is a problem in a couple of places. Whenever I go out and have to kill biters, there's some big spitters around the place, which are a bit of a worry. But anyway, we were just messing about with some stuff back in the factory. I'm not actually sure, I wasn't paying attention. But what I'm doing here is unloading all of my my railway building equipment, because I don't think I'm going to be building any railways for a little bit now. We've sort of sorted out all the supplies of ores. That's what we need to do for now. Maybe we'll do something with oil a bit later on, but there is a ton of oil immediately around the base. Anyway, I'm visiting the Iron Outpost 1 to check on things here. There's a couple of mining drills that have run out, and I'm also messing with the power supply, because of course as time goes on this thing has migrated south a bit as it's worked its way through the deposit, so the power supplies have to be shifted about a bit to make sense. And I clear out a couple of trees for some future mining drills, but at the moment I don't think we need it, because it looks like the supply is absolutely fine for iron ore from there, so we'll just leave that as it is. So we're back at the station again, because I'm going to catch another train, whichever one comes along first, and it's Copper Outpost 1, so we'll hop on board the train, and we're going to go over and check up on that one as well. Basically, I'm just going and checking on all of the different outposts to make sure that the supplies are running fine, that there's not too many mining drills run out and so on. So if we go over here, you can see this one has a lot of mining drills running, and at the moment there's only a couple that have actually run out. We did have a biter attack here recently though, and a couple of turrets have lost a bit of ammo, but it looks like everything went absolutely fine. It seems like it was a fairly small force that was quickly dealt with by the turrets. Nothing even took any damage, so we can just leave that as it is. And then while we wait for the train to come back, I clear away a couple of these trees, because I don't like trees with health bars. They're annoying, so I just cut those down and hop back on board the train so we can make our way home. And it's being the back carriage is being loaded quite fully. That was a terrible sentence. The cargo wagon at the rear was not being properly loaded. Fully loaded. I'd forget it. it wasn't quite full, but that should be fine because the front carriage was absolutely full and so on. And at the moment you can see that all of the conveyor belts are completely backed up, which is a good thing. So going over to the base again, I'm going to resupply on modules, or actually I might have been getting rid of some because I'm gathering some from the deconstruction that I'm doing at all the outposts, and I've grabbed some laser turrets, and the next base that I'm going to go to is Iron Outpost 2, the one that's a million miles away. So we make our way over here. Takes quite a while. Don't worry, that wasn't some crashing there, that was an autosave when we just sort of stopped on the corner. So we hop back out of the train. This one doesn't have so many mining drills on it actually, particularly considering there's a few run out on the end. So what I decided to do is add in another column of these, not a full column actually, just one side of one for now, which should be enough to keep it running. I feel like adding in both sides of it would be a bit too much. I don't even know if I have enough modules for that. I think I used up half my modules supplying all of these ones that are here. So we add that into the system, but now there's things aren't quite even on either side of the belt, so I just add in a belt even outer thingamabob, and put in a couple of laser turrets around the edge, because this base seems to be the one that's under the most threat from alien attacks right now, because we've had a couple of attacks from fairly powerful aliens that have done some damage, but I don't think have actually caused some destruction yet. But anyway, we can go back on the train and make our way home once again. This one gets fully loaded before it leaves, so after a quick inspection, I decide to turn down the amount of time that it stays in each station, and then we'll make our way back again on this extremely long trip that you could probably make a cup of tea while you're waiting for. But anyway, we park up in the final in the station, and I don't think we're going to check up on the other train because we set that up last episode, and we've already visited there one or two times anyway. So I'm checking up on the smeltery right now, and at the moment the supply is absolutely fine. There are a ton of smelters that are off, which is a good sign. But at the moment there's a bit of a problem with iron, where all of the ore, all of the iron is being taken off one side of the belt. So what I'm trying to do is sort out some evening out, but because it's all on one side, I just need to sort of get it so that stuff's put onto that side, so that it's a much easier splitter system thing to put in there. That should hopefully help to not have every single furnace on the right and not a single furnace on the left going. Anyway, after checking up on copper, I find that barely any of the furnaces are on, and that suggests to me that module level 3 production is finished. So I quickly grab some more alien artifacts so I can run over and switch that on again, because it's no fun when we're not making level 3 modules, because they hoover up so much of the supply that it means that we have so much demand that we need to build all of these ore outposts. So I've stuck a couple more alien artifacts in those to keep them running at full speed, and that'll keep things more interesting for us. Anyway, checking up on the laser turrets stuff, I've set up the logistics bots to deliver a couple of them to me, in case my supply of them runs down. I managed to get that sentence out at least. And then the next mission we're going to go on is adding in some more radars. At the moment we have a 4x5 grid, and what we're now going to do is upgrade it to a 5x5 grid with 5 more radars. So we're going out to the northwestern edge, back up to the iron outpost. Honestly, we could have probably taken the train, but I decided to walk there, and then we can go from here, working out the right positioning to put in the first one. And it's going to be right next to this huge stone outpost, stone deposit here. And we're going to build an outpost on that. We don't need that sort of stone unless we start building a ton of walls one day. Maybe we'll start doing that, because we definitely need some defenses. I mean, look at this base here, and this has popped up recently, and it very nearly kills me. I have to run away before I've quite finished with it, because there's so many worms and spitters that they nearly overwhelm me with the combined firepower. Though luckily I managed to deal with every single worm and spitter spawner in my first pass, just by complete accident. So running back in is easy enough, because it's just the standard biters. So with that done, we can start moving. Well, we can carry on with putting in our radars. And what I used to do was work out the positioning based entirely on the radar and stuff. Well, on the map, because you can sort of work out where you're standing from what you can see, and then work out where you need to put the radar. But what I've actually found is that if you're in the right place to put a radar, then the nearest radars are on the exact edge of your mini-map, so I can actually use that now, which is good, because in just a moment, nightfall, well, it has fallen, as you can see, because the night vision goggles are on, and they've all switched off, but luckily I can see where I need to put this new radar, because of where the previously placed radars are on my mini-map, so I can carry on with that, and then I can watch the radars as they switch on in the morning, because it's quite cool to see that, as one by one, each one wakes up start scanning and so on. Looks quite cool, and then they'll get up to speed and so on. And then we can move down and sort out our final one. But there's another biter base here, and I'm taking no chances this time. I'm deploying 40 destroyer drones to make sure I can definitely deal with this, and I absolutely decimate it, of course, with that sort of firepower. Maybe we'll be able to use this when we're going around the lake later, if we try that again. We'll probably try that in like the last episode or something. Anyway, there's now that I've got all these destroyer drones, I want to quickly run around and make the most use of them. So I'm trying to blow up all these bases, but every single one of them is like only biters. And there's just a couple of spawners and didn't need 40 destroyer drones to deal with it. So I'm just running along and trying to find actual decent bases to deal with. Here's one which gets absolutely destroyed, and then there's another one right next to it, but unfortunately the destroyer drones start blowing up while I'm still harvesting the materials, and I end up having to deploy another set of them to deal with this. This turns out to just be biters anyway, so it's not too much of a challenge. Though we do lose quite a lot of the destroyer drones. I probably should have deployed a couple more to be safe. But anyway, we've got our nice new grid of 5x5 grid of radars to help scan further out to the west and spot some more deposits. Though there seems to be tons of deposits now. Like since we expanded to the new iron one, we've been discovering dozens of new outposts. Anyway, we made our way back home, and I found out that actually the construction drones try and repair the destroyer drones if they're damaged. I didn't know that was a thing, but I guess it makes a lot of sense. So that's pretty cool, but it's sort of pointless because these guys are about to explode, and there they go. So anyway, I've spotted now that we're having a problem with batteries. You see, I upgraded blue signs production, and then I also set up the laser turret production, and of course both of these put an extra bit of strain on battery production, which already wasn't going as fast as it really should have been doing. So now we need to add in some more battery chemical plants. So I've added in one of them there. And then I'm checking up on the blue science production, seeing how the supply is going, and they are getting to the end, which suggests that it's going to build up again. But at the moment, because of the way I've set up the buffer system, none of it is able to get to laser turret production. So it might be that once laser turret production has a say again, battery production won't be enough. So I decided to add in yet another chemical plant, and I think this is the first time I've scaled this system since I first set it up all those episodes ago. So we've just doubled our battery production now, and that could be a problem for sulfuric acid. Actually, we should probably keep an eye on that. Anyway, since I've set that up, power has gone terrible, and everything, like the accumulators ran out overnight, even though they've been fully charged during the day. But it still took the solar panels nearly all day to charge them fully. So it looks like we need to upgrade both accumulators and solar panels. And this is particularly annoying considering I had the nice pattern with the accumulators, and I'm going to have to ruin that now. So we go over to our accumulator square, and we're going to have to shift some of these pylons out of the way to make room for future accumulators. So then we start putting in this new square of them here, and completely ruined our lovely nice square shape that we had, but oh well. Sometimes these things must be done. And then we make our way over to these solar panels, and this is the point where I do a weird thing. I decide that I'm not happy with the spacing, and I'm going to make things more efficient by compressing them in a bit. But in order to do that, I'm going to have to mess with the pattern, because when I placed this the new copper line, the copper train thing, I had to clear out like 6 solar panels wide of space in order to keep the nice pattern that I've got of lots of complete squares. But in order to, well, what I've decided to do is compress things so that there's only a 9 square gap that's left out by the that's cleared in order to fit in the new railway. But in order to make this work properly, I'm going to have to shift all of these solar panels and stuff around, and just be terrible really. And it's just a complete waste of time, and I spend a good few minutes just sorting this out, just moving a lot, like shifting everything along by 3 squares. Luckily it doesn't mean I don't have to deconstruct the entire solar panel system. I just have to get rid of some of them. And in fact the way I'm doing this is completely nonsensical as well. I'm taking out a bunch of columns when I could just take out 4 of the rows and shift things along that way. But you just have to bear with me and watch as I mess about with all this in the dark, putting in all of the just moving everything along a bit. And it's not really I mean, it makes a bit more space, I guess, but I was just wasting time. But to be fair, there's not that many more things to do in the base now. Everything's just sort of running as it is. I could maybe upgrade the science rate, and that would throw everything into disarray, and I'd have to upgrade all of the different production systems for that. But anyway, we managed to shift everything along. We've also put in a new row of solar panels to help supplement things there. So later on we'll see if the power system sorted that out, and it looks like we're having a bit of a problem with sulfur, but we have run out of time for today, so I will deal with it in the next episode. So until then, I shall say goodbye, thank you for watching, and I shall see you next time.